Hey, good day, everybody. So you want to start your first business. You have an idea. How do you start? Don't overthink it. The cliche of just do it is so true. Just find a way to test as cost effective as possible the idea that you have. And I remember my first business, like many lifelong entrepreneurs, was just simply in high school, middle school and high school, going around my neighbors and asking to plow their driveway, already kind of developing that customer relationship and negotiating and asking for the sale. And obviously it's a lot easier when you're a high schooler or middle schooler. I think part of the sale is your neighbors don't want to say no to you, which is a great opportunity. So if you're of that age group, take that as an advantage. You can use that to sell, and people want to help you because you're young and you're getting started. So I think pretty much anything you want to sell at that age will probably have a good conversion rate. And so if you're again the age group or you're young and you're just getting started, those are the best businesses to start. Or if you have kids and you want them to start being an entrepreneur, have them start doing that. With my son, who's 8 years old, who loves trains, we go to a lot of the train fairs, and I have him negotiate about buying the pieces that he wants. We'll go, and what's great about these fairs is that there's a lot of used items that are for sale, and so we'll go in there with $20 and have him really maximize that $20 to get as much stuff as he needs. And so he has it already. We've been doing it for 2 years. He already goes there. He knows how to negotiate, and people really enjoy it. They enjoy seeing an 8-year-old be able to negotiate a little bit and have the conversation, which today with the cell phone and all these other technologies, unfortunately, probably becoming rarer and rarer. So parents out there, I encourage you to have your kids just learn to start negotiating. The lemonade stand, right, that we all hear about. That's a great way to meet your neighbors. I don't know if you like your neighbors, but if you want to meet more, that's the way to do it. And then your kids can learn how to start running a business and just start to negotiate a little bit. So, and then as you get older, if there's the older folks, more mature folks, I should say, more mature folks I'm talking to, who maybe had that corporate job and want to go out on their own, find something simple that you can just toy with on the side, because you want to get the hang of before you really go after your idea, which we'll talk more about how you can do that. Try to test a couple of things. Try to go to your TJ Maxx. A lot of people have simple businesses online that are going to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and they buy the items for on clearance for very cheap, and are able to actually sell for a profit on Amazon and eBay. And there's a lot of YouTube videos out there of people who are doing that. And so just something like that. I mean, it's not much risk, not much money out of pocket, gets you to negotiate and get the flow of being an entrepreneur. What you buy something for, what you sell it for. I mean, something like that. I think if you're an older crowd, I think would help you just start to play with the idea of being an entrepreneur. Or if you have an idea that's simple, and we'll talk about, I invented a sushi gadget years ago. Actually, I can show you guys. Actually, have it on my desk. A sushi gadget years ago called Sushi Quick, and this is the 3D printed prototype that we did all those years ago. And now I want to talk on the channel about that journey as well. This is the place for you. I can help you with that, and we can talk more about that. And so you can start with a prototype and launch on a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, which is the way I did it all those years ago. I've always wanted to invent a gadget. That was, I have a list. People have things in life they want to accomplish, just regular life things. Well, I have an entrepreneurial to-do list or wish list, and inventing gadget is something I've always wanted to do. And my wife and I loved making sushi, and years ago we tried making it at home with a bamboo mat, and it was really difficult. And so I went on Amazon and bought the so-called sushi kits, which were pretty bad and are still on there, by the way. And a little side plug: Sushi Quick is the product that I invented, and you can Google it. You can go on Amazon. It's still a well-selling product, and we did an infomercial with it. We were on DIY Network, but anyways, so I wanted to solve that problem and hired a sushi chef and an engineer, and started to think through some of ideas and came up with this, which we launched on Kickstarter. We didn't raise much. We were looking for 10. I think we got just right over 10. But well, the most important thing is we were able to viral out of that and get some early customers without really putting up much money. Those first backers, if you guys ever been to Indiegogo or Kickstarter, I really encourage you to go to those crowdfunding platforms, because they really help you validate an idea, and folks are on there essentially pre-ordering your first batch of items. So it's a great way to test if you have a physical product. And these are all things you can do on the site. You don't have to quit your corporate job to do that. I think the goal is just to try it. And again, I know it's cliche and corny to say just do it, but there's so much truth to that, because I think unfortunately most people just sit there and they dream, they wish, and they probably unfortunately talk themselves out of it. And I have a good friend of mine who, maybe he knows if he's going to be watching this video, who actually summarized it great for me a couple months back when we were talking. And he's more of the corporate guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's done very well for himself, very successful in the corporate world. And he looked at me and said, Bryce, and I was trying to help him with a business idea that he had. He's like, you're the type of guy that jumps off the cliff and builds the airplane on the way down. I'm the type of guy who builds the airplane before I jump off the cliff. Obviously, there's a middle ground there, but I think you guys get the point. You can't overthink it. You can't, a lot of mistakes, and I made these mistakes early on when I first started. A lot of entrepreneurs want to build the thing, whatever it is, and then go to try to sell it. And the problem is you don't know. You don't know if the product's going to work. And most likely, and we'll talk more about this, the product you're going to start with and the idea you have is not going to be what it is 5 years from now. Sushi Cook was not that. It was a whole different idea I started with, and I'll cover another video. So the key is just to go out there and just to start trying, to start testing. You really want to think backwards. You want to think about what's the simplest way I can narrow down this idea or simplify it to go out and test it to the market, so I can start getting feedback. And as you get feedback, you can start to put it together in a structure. And that's the beautiful thing about Indiegogo and Kickstarter, is those platforms allow you to do that while funding, while basically being non-equity investors in your product, your company, which is great. I mean, those platforms thank you for the internet, right? Years ago, when I started as an entrepreneur, we didn't have any of that. And that makes me feel like the old guy. I never thought I'd feel like an old guy, but there's moments like that, I feel like I'm the older guy. But those are platforms that you can use at any, when I say any age, I think they might have maybe 18, but if you're under 18, have your parents do it with you on Kickstarter. And it's a great experience. You get to talk to the backers, you get to get feedback and work on your idea. I mean, I just couldn't recommend it enough to everybody out there. So, the point of this channel is, for me, and I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. I just wanted to make sure it was the right time. I've been an entrepreneur, my whole life, but I wanted to make sure that I was at a point in my life where I was willing, well, not willing, but in a mindset to be able to share all this with you guys. And I think being a new father has helped out a lot. I want to put this content out there as well for my kids, where they can go back and see the things that I've worked on and believed in. But then above and beyond that, helping others who want to be entrepreneurs. And that's the greatest thing, and I'll talk more about it. I'm from France originally, Europe. Harder to be an entrepreneur there, and being in America, it truly is. The American dream is really still alive. It might be a little bit harder, but it's still alive. Don't listen to the media. Don't watch the news, first and foremost. The opportunities are out there. And if you apply yourself and you work hard, and it's going to be hard, you can do it. This is the country to do it. And I'll keep talking about that on the channel. So many different experiences I want to talk to you guys about that I can prove that point. And that's probably also a big part of the channel, is as an immigrant, is to remind Americans how fortunate you are to be in this country that gives you a lot of these opportunities. So take advantage of it. It's still a thriving economy. Invent that thing you've always wanted to invent. Try that business idea. This is the place to do it. So appreciate you guys tuning in. What helps drive the conversation is subscribing, liking, commenting, so I can see what you guys are thinking about, and can also help drive the conversation, because I've been in it for so long. I always tell people I'm being in the weeds. You're no longer at the 40,000 foot level, right? Of like you're up in an airplane, you see everything from above. I'm down like in the ground, in the trenches, doing this every day. And I've owned so many different businesses, started so many different businesses that I think you guys will help flesh out the conversation through your questions and our interactions together. So I look forward to helping any way I can, and hopefully encourage you to take that leap and to try that business idea that you've had for a really long time. So I appreciate the opportunity, guys, and we'll keep talking.